Hello, welcome to Ascension Arcana Tarot. This is Christine with a weekly reading for the week of November 17th. This is a general collective reading, so as always, please take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I'm going to use the Light Seers today. I haven't used this one for a while. I miss it. Alrighty, God, what messages do you have for the folks in this collective for their week this week? This friend wanted to come out. The Magician, I love this card. I always say that in my readings. I feel a lot of love for tarot. It's just a common thing that comes out of my mouth. So I don't know if you guys noticed when I was shuffling, this card was very much like sticking out, but it didn't flip out. It kind of got a little stuck. So reading the energy of that card in combination with the way that it got stuck, I'm wondering if you're in this collective, if there's some sort of stuck feeling or maybe lack of progress or frustration around kind of claiming your personal power around something that you're working to manifest right now, or something that you're working to build, that you're working to create. Got one of those inward readings. We got the Five of Cups and the Judgment card. Whoo! I love getting all these major arcana cards. It's just like fun to get a powerful reading for you guys. So just a little thing about tarot. I've talked about this before. If you don't want to hear it, go ahead and skip ahead a minute or two. But minor arcana cards are very much like opportunities that are sort of presented to us by the universe, by the energy that's going on, opportunities that are very much up to our free will, whether we want to accept or decline the opportunity. When we start to see a lot of major arcana cards, that's when the energy of the universe is kind of coming in a bit more to intervene. So one thing that I very strongly believe is that we all have free will. God, the universe, source energy cannot like impose its will on us. It's just one of the rules of the way that our universe functions. So God, source energy, the universe, whatever resonates for you, could never come in and like force you to do something, right? It could present you with a pretty, something very strongly, right? Where if you maybe choose against your highest good, there might be some sort of bumpy consequences there, right? It might cause some discomfort, some stress, some loss that happens, right? But that still is your choice to choose if you want to accept the opportunity or not, if you want to go the direction the universe is sort of nudging you, or if you want to go in a different direction. So these major arcana cards, it never means that the universe is forcing something on you, but I do feel it as like a much stronger energy that the universe is kind of trying to intervene on behalf of your highest good. The Five of Cups is really reminding me of this spiral too on the Magician card. So remember how I had said this Magician kind of got stuck, right? So that you might be having some frustration around like a manifestation or even like claiming your personal power that is feeling kind of stuck, or maybe there's like some obstacles there. So the Five of Cups, I feel, is representing that. I just realized I'm in kind of like a fast talking energy. This feels very important to me. The energy of this reading that you're going through feels really important to me. I feel like I'm having one of those readings where I feel very like emphatic of that there's like a clear, important message here. And I want to like talk fast and like talk loudly and emphasize things and like make sure that you guys get the message. So I feel like that energy is even being like reflected in my voice. I can feel the energy of it kind of in my heart. So this Five of Cups, right? It's almost like the Magician gone wrong, right? Where the Magician is like powerful. This figure is kind of skillfully wielding like this energy. It feels kind of very like appropriately controlled. I don't know that control is exactly the right word for it, but maybe disciplined. It feels like really appropriately disciplined. And this person is kind of like a master of their craft, right? And it feels like this is you. Okay, what I'm channeling is like, you know that song, My Heart Will Go On? and how that was like a thing for a while with memes, maybe like a couple years ago, that like recorder fail version of My Heart Will Go On, where it's like off key and like squeaky. It's like, this is Celine Dion singing My Heart Will Go On. And this is you on your squeaky recorder trying to very badly play My Heart Will Go On. So, yeah, that's like that's the energy that I'm getting here. It's actually really funny. I like that meme. But it's like really sad. I'm not laughing at your energy. The universe just sent me a funny way to describe what's going on here. So it's like your goal is to be this, to be empowered, right? And disciplined and like a master at your craft, right? Like really honing in on that energy and on being a master manifester, right? Being a master at that craft. And you're just not yet. And that's okay. It's a place where I feel like you're practicing, but you're feeling maybe some sadness, some depression, some loss, some despair. Kind of in this picture, the energy is that the magic that is in these bowls is like, what would you call it? Like kind of flushing away down into this black hole. And she's even like knocking this fourth one over with her foot. So typically in tarot cards, the 3 are knocked over and the 2 are left upright. But in this one, she is knocking over this fourth one, and my guess is she's going to move on to the 5th one. And you can even see around her chest here, there's like this golden light, almost like her life force is also draining down here. So again, a feeling of like focusing on loss, focusing on despair, feeling drained, feeling exhausted, powerless, feeling like a total failure. Maybe even to the point of depression where you're like, really, what is even the point of this anymore? Like feeling like the failure has been so much, like there's been so much failure. There's been so much loss. There's been so many mistakes, so much messing up that it's not even worth bothering to try anymore. That's the energy that I'm getting. It's someone who really is feeling very hopeless, helpless, and in despair and just in complete give up mode. Something that I'm noticing about these 2 cards, not only do they have like a similar color, but they also both have these sort of black, I don't know, like shading lines kind of around the corners. That's not super common in the cards of this deck. So I feel like that judgment energy is 100% this figure, even though they have different color hair and they're feminines on the card. You don't have to be feminine in real life, right? It's just the gender that's represented on the card. But I feel like this is that figure because of those similarities, having a wake up moment. I feel like it almost feels like God, the universe, like a fairy, like maybe the voice of one of your ancestors like booms in your inner mind or whatever and is like, stop spilling those bowls. Like, this is not okay, right? This is not for your highest good. She still has this one bowl left, right? So instead of being in that place of self-sabotage, being able to take the magic, the love, right? And I keep saying bowl, but it's a cup. And in the tarot, the cups represent the emotions. Being able to take this beautiful glowing cup of emotions and turning it into something, right? Being able to use that beautiful love energy to do this, right? To have that kind of practice, right? Don't just give up and tip it down into this black hole, right? Practice with it. That's the way that you hone your craft. That's the way that you become this master manifester, this master of the elements, this magician. The Judgment card is all about rebirth for me. It's like heeding a call. I feel like that's why I'm hearing like the booming voice, like it's Archangel Gabriel, right? Like coming down from the sky with his trumpet and saying to you, like, you need to knock it off, right? It is not for your highest good to be in this energy of like wastefulness and hopelessness and just this complete giving up of like, forget it. Everything's ruined, so I'm not even going to bother to try. And I feel like source energy, the universe, God itself is finding a way to communicate with you and give you this rebirth, give you this calling and call out to you and say, no, don't give up, right? That energy is not helping you. This is not what you're meant to do. Giving up is not what you were put on this earth to do, right? You were put on the earth to rise, to ascend. For me, that resonates a lot. I'm being on like a spiritual journey, an ascension journey. Like sometimes we have to look, well, not even sometimes, that's the nature of the journey, is that we have to look at the most difficult, the most painful places within us and patterns and things that we've gone through, right? And heal them. And that's what gives us this sort of ascension, this freedom, right? To rise and be free from like these burdens. Yeah, this is really interesting. I feel like if you're in this collective, it will be very important to pay attention. Like I said, I'm really feeling this as like that an angel appearing from the sky, or like a booming voice, or like a booming voice even in your inner mind, like through your intuition. It's interesting with the portals here, and we just recently had the 1111 portal. So I don't know if this will resonate maybe for some healing or some things that came up for any of you around the energy of the 1111 portal, but I definitely feel like you're in this despair and you're moving towards this judgment, this uplifting. Just keep your ears open is what I'm hearing, and not even necessarily your physical ears, right? But keep your energetic ears. Like I said, it could be your inner voice, or it could literally be that you're like walking in the grocery store, right? And someone makes an announcement that has some sort of meaning to you and you're just like blown away, right? I'm feeling the energy of like, pay attention to that, because that's the universe, source, God. That's spirit communicating with you. Spirit uses all manner of things to communicate with us, not just magical things like tarot cards or whatever, oracles or something like that. I mean, I like license plates, seeing angel numbers around places. Like I said, going in the grocery store and all of a sudden there's a random announcement that has some special meaning to you, right? I have a friend who I have been chatting with a lot about our spiritual journeys, and sometimes she'll say a word and I'm like, I can't believe you said that word. That's literally what I was working through last night. And that's God speaking to me through her, right? So yeah, it feels like pay attention. The universe is going to be giving you a booming message that is going to basically be telling you, get the heck out of this energy. It's time for you to claim your power back. It's time for you to wake up, right? Wake up and kind of snap out of it. Because you're meant to be the magician. You're meant to have this level up, to be ascending, and to become the master of your craft here. I'm very much channeling like the 8 of Pentacles card with this energy here, just around practicing, working hard, honing your craft. Use the magic and the love that is in this remaining cup, right? And learn how to do this beautiful magic with it. It's like so lovely. For the last row here, we have the Queen of Swords, Justice, and the 6 of Pentacles. I feel like Justice is further reinforcing the Judgment card. So we have kind of half and half. We have 3 major arcanas, 3 minor arcanas. I guess I consider the court cards to be minor arcana. But Justice is all about balance. I'm really drawn to her reflection and also the sword. This is also a card of karma, and I'm also feeling like Justice and Judgment together are very much speaking about like your destiny. So I know that concept doesn't necessarily resonate for everyone. For me personally, I feel like I have like a soul mission, right? I have a reason why I incarnated onto this earth at this time, with the certain skills and interests and abilities that I have. So it's feeling like that, like the universe is kind of coming in. And again, like you have free will, you can refuse to align with your destiny, but I feel like that's the energy that the universe is trying to help you align with your destiny, which I feel is being this magician, being this master manifester, right? With that peace and that calm and that strength and that confidence. And having honed your craft, right? Being really good at what it is that you're here to do. And allowing that to be a practice. It doesn't mean you wake up tomorrow and you're magically excellent at whatever your life purpose is. But it means taking the steps, like with the Eight of Pentacles, taking the steps to practice, and just constantly be moving in that right direction. I'm drawn to her reflection here. This happens for me sometimes with these cards. So I'm feeling like this sort of muddy lower reflection is bouncing off this Five of Cups to me in terms of feeling more like, I don't know how to describe it. Sometimes I see upsets or misalignment as like mud in the water, right? It's not flowing clear, like, which is kind of how I imagine God or like source energy. So there's just kind of some upsets, maybe some resistance, right? That sort of despair, depression, hopelessness, giving up energy. It's kind of making your reflection here muddy. And I feel very much the energy of this sword as like clarity. And that's how I'm feeling the Queen of Swords as well. It's just that sharp clarity energy that sometimes I get from the Swords cards. And I feel like that's what this moment of judgment is whatever this booming voice is that kind of comes in and gives you like this wake up call. It feels like that. It feels like a sword slicing through this kind of despair, giving up energy. And at that point, there's like no going back. What it's reminding me of is like, I don't know that this is quite the right analogy, but like Jell-O or like a cake or something that you would like, if you sliced through it, you could never put it back together. Like it's always going to be different than it was before it got like sliced through, right? And that's what I feel like this is, that it's kind of a sharp line between the old Five of Cups energy having this slice, this clarity, right? This sword slicing through like a wake-up call. And then afterwards, it just has to be different because it can never be the same now that you've had like this clarity, this wake-up call. The Six of Pentacles is interesting here. It's feeling to me like balancing, and I'm super drawn to the fact that it has like this infinity energy, which is pretty unique to this tarot deck. It's reminding me of the swirls of the magician and also of the infinity symbol above her head. So this feels like you kind of, again, with like the magical mastery sort of, right? I'm feeling it as this kind of swirling of the energy that the magician is doing. But the pentacles for me are representing those physical resources, right? So time, money, skills. It could be like going back to school, taking classes from somebody, and you kind of mastering your physical resources around how to make that happen for yourself. So like an example that's coming to me is like, let's say your sort of magician dream, right? The wonderful thing that you wish you could be doing with your life is like being a Reiki master, right? And you sort of have given up on that dream. Maybe you feel like you're broke or you wouldn't be very good at it, or you're just kind of like, forget it, whatever. And the universe comes in with this booming angel trumpet and is like, dude, you are put on this earth to be the most amazing Reiki master ever. Snap out of it, right? I feel like that here is your moment of the slicing, the clarity, right? You can't ever forget that. You can't ever go back from having heard that. And then the Six of Pentacles feels like you as like a master magician sort of wielding your resources to make this come true, where you'd be like, okay, like I heard that Archangel Gabriel's booming voice. I heard your trumpet. Like I heard the wake up call. I had my judgment moment. Now, how do I make that happen? Right? How do I wield my resources, my finances, my time, maybe physically like finding a teacher, right, in your area or online, kind of budgeting around how to do that. It feels really powerful. It feels like that divine intervention, and then the groundedness of like, you're so, it's almost like your version of reality that you've been in, which is this 5 of Cups, is so shaken that you're like, oh crap, like, okay, yeah, it's time to do that. And you just hear the judgment call, and now you it's almost like you have no choice but to make it happen, even though that's not true, because like I said, you have free will, and you could say, screw you, universe, I'm not going to do that, right? But I feel like if you're in this collective, you're probably, and if you're listening to tarot readings, and especially if you're listening to my tarot readings, you're probably a person who is going to be listening when Archangel Gabriel comes and blows his trumpet in your face and you have this wake up call. It's like a really cool energy. This feels extremely powerful. So, like I said, I felt that almost like frantic decisiveness here, that like I really feel like I need to give you this very clear message. And this, all that I just said, feels like that. So I believe that I have delivered that message. And I also am feeling this energy in my solar plexus, like my, the whole core of my body, like the muscles and the energy centers feel very activated right now. It feels very centered, very grounded, very supported, right? I feel like that activation of like my core is kind of supporting me sitting up here. It feels good. It feels aligned. If there's like a very alive feeling, I'm feeling a lot of like life energy flowing through my solar plexus right now. It's a really powerful feeling. I don't know how else to describe it, but I think that's probably good enough. This is pretty profound. This is one of those that I would definitely label as a profound reading. This is a moment, this is one of those life-changing moments that you'll be like 95 years old and someone will say like, tell me your most life-changing moment. And you'll be like, oh, I know that moment. That's the moment when XYZ happened. And that's like the thing that gives you this wake-up call, right? And sets you off on that path to your purpose. It's really cool. I love that. Feels good. All right. What advice do you have for folks in this collective for their week this week, God? 10 of Swords. That's really funny. I was talking to a friend today and I was telling her about the energy of that card. One of my favorite tarot readers says the 10 of Swords is the end dead end that leads to a new beginning. I just think that's such a beautiful way to summarize the energy of this card. This feels to me like a sunrise on the beach, right? And she's sort of being blown by like a cool sea breeze in the morning. And the crows, which represent kind of ego chatter for me most of the time with the swords cards, are just flying away from her. It feels like the release of those burdens and kind of stepping into a new, fresh day, having mastered the energy of the swords. I'm feeling like it's resonating off of this clarity energy that I was getting from the Queen of Swords and Justice. Just in terms of those thoughts, those doubts kind of lifting, right? And just flying away and leaving you free and unburdened. So if this resonates, what I'm feeling is that the 5 of Cups here, the reason that this despair and giving up energy is happening is because of those ego thoughts. I was expressing some of them when I was describing the energy of that card, right? When I was saying, I'll never be good at this. It's been too many mistakes. There's no way I can ever recover from this. Like each one of those thoughts is one of these little birds here. And if you are in a place where you can be mindful of those thoughts coming up, those self-sabotaging kind of doubts coming up, and be able to see them for what they are, right? So if you already have a practice for doing that, great. If you don't, I feel like this might be a helpful visualization for you where you say to yourself, maybe it's too far gone. I'll never have my dream, right? And then kind of catch yourself and say like, oh, that was a crow thought. That was a swords thought. That was an ego thought, right? Recognize it for what it is. That's a thought that's keeping me from my good. And then say to yourself, like, I choose to release that thought. And then fill that space with a more aligned thought, right? Like, for example, instead of saying, it's too far gone, I'll never have it, say, wow, I learned a lot from making those mistakes. I don't ever have to make those mistakes again, and I can move forward in a new energy, right? Kind of giving yourself the space and freedom to move forward without being burdened by those crow thoughts. We have the Four of Cups. I feel like this one is very much resonating with the energy of this and what we just said. So this card always strikes me. She has this beautiful rainbow, right? Filling up this cup here, this last cup. And she is like bored and not even noticing it. And there's these like 3 empty cups here, right? So this cup is being offered to her as a gift and she's kind of not noticing it. I feel like, again, that sort of goes to what I was saying about free will. Like, this is a huge gift from the universe, this judgment call, this wake-up call. Even if it's something as silly as the booming voice on the loudspeaker in the grocery store, like I keep channeling that, so it might resonate for someone. Could be like a song that you hear on the radio, right? Or like a word that the radio announcer says, or something that you just overhear somebody saying as you're like walking to work or something, right? But making sure that you're mindful of any energy. Oh, that's really funny. That wanted to come out. Any energy of apathy that you're in with both of these 2 cards here. This opportunity is something, like I said, that it's up to your free will. So if you choose not to listen to this, you don't have to listen to it. The universe, God, source, the energy around us is not going to force you into anything. But the energy of the cards very much says, like, please, like, this feels like your destiny. Like, this is the thing that you kind of chose to be here to do, right? This is your special gift that you bring to the earth and that only you can fulfill. This purpose, this role, this destiny, right? I feel like the universe is saying, please, please pay attention. The 8 of Swords, I had kind of, when I gestured my hand, it like flipped this card off. So I feel like that wanted to show up as well. I feel like it's just saying a similar thing where the crows here are those ego thoughts. And you can see that they have these strings that are kind of like tying up this girl. But when you look at her here, this is just her reflection in a mirror. It's only an illusion. And I feel like that's the crux of the 8 of Swords card, is that nothing really can keep you stuck. Like, one of my favorite moments in one of my favorite childhood movies is The Labyrinth, when Sarah, the main character, says to the Goblin King, "You have no power over me." And like the entire illusion that the Goblin King was trying to weave around her just dissolves because she had this moment of realization of like, you have no power over me. And I feel like the advice here, again, is what I was saying around this 10 of Swords with those ego thoughts, those doubts that are kind of keeping you in this despair, this depression, this energy of giving up. Like, all you have to do to set yourself free is realize you have no power over me. Those thoughts have no power over me. These doubts have no power over me, because all that you have to do is recognize them, right? Is just see them. Like I was saying, that's an ego thought. That's one of those crow thoughts, right? That's one of those doubts. That's one of those sword thoughts. And it's like it dissolves in the face of the truth of like you just kind of staring it down and kind of speaking the truth to it. I don't know if this will resonate for you guys, but I just saw this, and especially talking about the mirror. So I have like a significant number of spiritual quotes that I have laminated, and I have them hanging on my bathroom mirror. So when I like brush my teeth, do my makeup, like get ready for bed, and I'm like washing my face, my eyes are drawn to them, and I'll tend to read one or two that like resonates for me and sort of reinforces a message. But I feel like I'm seeing like a picture of that character Sarah, and then just a little text that says, you have no power over me. And like having that laminated and put on the mirror, so that you can be reminding yourself of that even as you're just going about your daily business. And like, I've done this practice for, gosh, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years at this point. And it doesn't magically fix everything in a day, but I find that kind of reviewing those quotes and those ideas, every time that I'm getting ready, like I said, getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth, getting ready for work, whatever, and I'm seeing them and I'm reviewing them, it's like creating new pathways in my brain. And it takes time, but man, like over time, the results of that build up kind of like an avalanche or like a snowball rolling downhill or something. It's a very powerful practice. So I would highly recommend it if that resonates for you at all. We have the 2 of Wands, the 7 of Cups, and the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, I feel like this is actually a helpful energy because it's helping me understand the 5 of Cups a little bit more. That this whole bottom row is very much bouncing off the 5 of Cups for me. So if you're in this collective, what I'm feeling is that you have been feeling like at a crossroads or uncertain about a decision that you've had to make. So that's the 2 of Wands and the 7 of Cups together. The 2 of Wands is about getting clear and making a decision. And the 7 of Cups is the card of confusion around making a decision, and you're kind of like afraid of which one to make, and the roads, the paths of the decision are like kind of unclear. So you're not able to clearly see, oh, if I choose this, then this will happen. Oh, if I choose this, then this will happen. It's like, well, I could choose this and this might happen. And it's almost reminding me of like in Beauty and the Beast when, I forget Belle's father's name, Maurice, when he was riding towards the castle and like one of the paths was like all spooky and foggy looking, and the other one was like sunny and the birds were chirping or whatever. And he chose the foggy, spooky path, right? So that was an example of like, there was clearly a right answer and a wrong answer of what path to go down. But I'm kind of feeling like for you, all of the choices look like that foggy, spooky path. So I just feel like you haven't had that clear sign that's helping you really figure out like, which way do I go? If you're in this collective, it might actually resonate to just say those words to the universe. Like, God, I choose for you to give me a very booming, clear sign of which decision to make here, of which path to take that's most aligned with like my destiny, with my life purpose, with my highest good, with my greatest joy, right? Whatever resonates for you. But I'm feeling that. And then the Page of Pentacles is absolutely feeling to me like the energy of you having that clarity, having that angel blowing his trumpet in your face kind of moment, and just being peaceful, feeling calm, feeling balanced, right? Feeling like you have those next steps to help you proceed forward. So it's taking any confusion, doubt, worry, chaos around this decision-making process, and just bringing you to this beautiful point of like balance and clarity. I feel like she's very much bouncing off that 6 of Pentacles card for me. That is really, really beautiful. That's really beautiful. I'm trying to figure out what other cards I want. I really am feeling the Life Purpose deck, but I have that in my other room. I keep channeling cards that I don't have. I have such a huge tarot collection. It's a lot of cards. Okay. And some of them I like to have close to me, so I keep them in my room. We're going to do the Angel Answers Oracle. Provided that any of them want to come out, and not like the Moonology cards on the full moon reading that I did. All right, friends, would you like to speak to us today? Do you have any advice for this amazing, powerful collective for their journey here this week. Any advice for this collective? All right. There we go. We have see only love. Look past the seeming errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings and see only the love within each person, including yourself. Your resolute focus upon the love that underlies every situation brings about healing in undreamed of ways. That is so much what I was saying about this Five of Cups, because it's talking about errors, mistakes, and misunderstandings. And one of the energies I was channeling from this is like, oh, there's been too many mistakes. Like, I'll never recover from this, right? It's reminding me of something that I was just talking about last night around, I should say I was receiving this. This was not me saying these words, but I was being given this message that, like, looking at mistakes and looking at things that have happened in the past as perfect, because those things helped you learn. There were lessons there, kind of receiving those lessons, accepting them, loving yourself through them, and realizing that those lessons were exactly the perfect things that you needed to happen in order to bring you to this very exact moment right now, where you are ready to have that angel come and blow his trumpet in your face and wake you the heck up to whatever it is that you are meant to do with your life to fulfill your destiny here on this planet. I thought that was such a beautiful message. And I feel like that's really what this is talking about, is instead of being hard on yourself, feeling this apathy, feeling this regret and depression, really being able to look at your mistakes as like stepping stones, right? And each one has been absolutely the perfect thing that needed to happen in order to get you to this moment. So being able to look at those mistakes and saying, thank you, mistakes. Like, I love you. I love that you happened, because that's what got me here to where I am right now. All right, we have energy work. Life can be electrifying because its very essence is energy. Your body is a remarkable energy field that will positively respond to loving treatments. Your hands and heart are activated to give healing energy to your loved ones and clients. That's a very funny card to get after I talked about being a master, like a Reiki master. So I feel like there's got to be at least somebody in this collective who's like, dude, this reading is for me. I've always wanted to be a Reiki master. So, but I do wonder, like I had even talked about the Eight of Pentacles, right? Which is a card, on the card, the person is like physically crafting those pentacles. So I'm feeling that if this resonates for you, it's not going to resonate for everybody, but there's definitely a vibe here of energetic or like physical craftsmanship. I was even channeling like being a jewelry maker. That came up to me, like with your little torch and your little tiny tools and making like beautiful jewelry, or being like a painter. I had channeled painter as well. Sometimes so much stuff comes through, I like can't share it all, but so I feel that talking about the energy coming through your hands. So either doing actual energy work, like maybe massage therapy or Reiki, acupuncture, or doing some sort of craft that involves like using your hands and sort of channeling that divine energy of the universe into whatever beautiful things you create. That's a really cool energy. I'm channeling like herbalism and gardening as well. Because it's so like hands-on, right? And, just being able to take that energy of the universe and put it into your creations. And that's what's going to make whatever you create magical and like special for you. So your like herbalism products that you make will be unique because they have your energy in them, right? And people will be attracted to that. We have innocence. Beloved one, everyone is guiltless in truth, as no one can alter God's handiwork of perfection. Give us your feelings of heaviness so we can brighten your load. Oh, lighten your load. That's funny. Give us any guilt, anger, or blame that may shroud your loving outlook. Enjoy the peace within your heart once more. I feel like that is very much bouncing off the 10 of Swords to me, where this angel's saying surrender, like surrender those crows to me, right? Surrender your doubts to me. Surrender the guilt and the heaviness and the shame and the despair and the depression. Surrender it to me. So if that card resonates for you, I feel like, again, saying out loud to whatever resonates for you, right? Like I could say that to angels. I love angels. Like, angel, to my angels, I choose for you to help me like release this energy of guilt, of hopelessness, of despair. I choose for you to take it from me. And then I would picture like my angels with their arms extended, kind of taking that burden from me. The last one says, have confidence. Moving forward does not necessarily require you to have confidence in yourself. Confidence in God is enough, along with knowing that God works through you and with you in all ways. Lean upon us if your confidence wavers, and we will buoy your courage and faith. I love that. I feel like that's bouncing off of this judgment experience, right? This sort of wake-up call, this booming voice. Being able to tell yourself, I feel like there's two ways you could look at it, right? One is, whatever, it was just an announcement in the grocery store. That was just a coincidence. The other one is like, holy cow, God himself just spoke to me through this incredible synchronicity of this message in the grocery store, and having the faith that that's what that was, not taking its power away by doubting it, but having faith of like, holy cow, that was my wake-up call, right? Having confidence in moving forward with that feels really powerful. What a cool reading. I feel like I've gotten a lot of really juicy readings lately. I love it. If you are in this collective, I would absolutely love to hear about what this judgment moment is for you. That is the coolest, most amazing energy. It's so beautiful. I hope that this reading was helpful. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, leave me a comment if you wish, as all of those things help me as I'm growing my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.